So I was thrilled when Matt asked me to come back and moderate, often help out, but in particular about this session because I'm a huge 7-Eleven fan, addict. We have one a block and a half from me. I go every day for my Slurpee. So why don't you guys each just really briefly introduce yourself, no sales pitches, clearly you've already sold me, but tell us a little bit about how you come to this discussion around the consumer experience.
Can I start, Mike?
Sure. So I'm Mike Debnar. I'm a senior director of digital innovation at 7-Eleven. So we're part of a pure play digital team, and we're not part of the core business, so we don't have kind of the day-to-day work that a lot of the merchandising folks do or the marketing folks have. So we just focus on finding new ways to reach more customers and transact with them in new digital ways. So that's really what my primary role is at 7-Eleven.
Sounds good. Ken?
I'm Ken Fine. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Medallia, and we're going to talk more about what Medallia does, but we are in the operational customer experience management space. In terms of my background and my perspective, I've been building technology products and companies from early stage, pre-Series A through IPO and beyond. Started my career as an engineer, so I have a technical background, then went to product management, marketing, general management, and have also worked as an investor.
Great. Well, we'll definitely get to Medallia in a second, but I want to start with you. So one of the things, Mike, that you run a venture fund for 7-Eleven, and I've been having fun this morning on Twitter and elsewhere imagining all the things that 7-Eleven might do with a venture fund. Bigger gulps, buffalo chicken rollers. What kinds of things are you guys investing in?
Sure. Well, first of all, when we set up this innovation team, we knew that we had to do things differently than what the core business does. So we kind of framed it up as what was adjacent to the business. But after about a year of that, we realized we weren't transformational enough. So my partner and I got together on a weekend and basically took a whiteboard and kind of drew up this idea for 7 Ventures. And it really, it does 2 things. One, we do strategic investments in startups. We do that so we can learn. And they're usually adjacent to our business. And the other thing that we're doing is we're doing new business models and new category development. If it's something that's so disruptive and our core business can't get their head around it, we'll do it as part of Ventures. And that's just doing things, you mentioned bigger drinks and different types of food. We are focused on food and beverage, but things that are more experimental, and that would be part of it.
What are some examples of some things you guys have invested in?
So we have invested in a loyalty company called Belly, and we're actually in about 600 of our stores. That's not a prerequisite, by the way. The investment in them actually being in the stores are mutually exclusive. Mm-hmm. So one doesn't come with the other. So
Belly's one of these loyalty cards, multiple places.
iPad, you kind of earn points and different kinds of rewards. Some of them are products, and some of them are very aspirational things, like you would get to name a Slurpee in a store.
So I want to talk about the stores themselves and the other half of your role, which is doing the digital stuff. I mean, you think of a convenience store, I'm thirsty. It's actually something that can't, in my mind, I generally think can't be fulfilled with an app. I just walk out of the house and get one. But 7-Eleven's actually been pretty aggressive on that front more recently. For years on July 11th, 7-Eleven, you'd get a free Slurpee, but this year on digital, there was a week's worth of free stuff in addition if you use the app. How do you guys see the role of digital in what I see as an experience that is very brick and mortar, not likely, until somebody venture funds a startup that's going to bring me my Slurpee, which probably someone's doing.
We're looking and working on stuff like that. I mean,
does it involve drones?
No.
Okay.
So the next evolution of convenience, right? I mean, what is next? People don't want to get out of their cars. They don't want to be inconvenienced. They want stuff brought to them. And there's a lot of delivery networks being built out, especially here in the San Francisco area. So it's a matter of liberating our product catalog and letting delivery networks basically do their thing.
How long, I didn't realize you were that thinking that deeply about, how long do you think it is before someone, whether it's you guys or a third-party service, is picking things off the 7-Eleven shelves and delivering them?
I'm going to speculate and say it could be as soon as 6 months from now.
Wow.
So And there's different things. So we do a lot of experiments, and we've done some kind of experimenting around that already. And what happens is we experiment, we see if the customer actually, if we're solving a problem, and if we are, we iterate on that and then maybe launch it into the core business. So like, for example, a lot of the marketing that you mentioned, the free week. So we built the app as kind of a minimum viable product. We listened to our customers. One of the first features of the app was a thing called Idea Hub, and that is, give us your ideas. We've realized that we're not going to reinvent our brand by the way it needs to constantly be reinvented within the four walls of our business. So we said, we're going to let our customers participate in that reinvention. And that has a lot to do with Medallia and the company that Ken works for too. So, but yeah, the digital aspect is important because we're probably close to 75% smartphone penetration. Our demographic is the 18 to 35-year-old, primarily male. So it's perfect. It's perfect demographic for smartphones and going digital. And they expect to be digital. They expect to talk to us digitally, and they expect to get what I call these little acts of kindness, which are free big gulps. They expect those things digitally too.
So Ken, we've gotten a little overview of how 7-Eleven is using digital and trying to engage with its customers. You've obviously helped them in this process. What in what we've talked about are examples that other companies, folks in the audience, can use as an example? What are they doing right, and what do companies need to be thinking about, even if they're not in a traditionally digitally thought of space?
Sure. If you think about what, first I'll define what customer experience management is and how it works. From a big picture perspective, you're really doing a couple of things. You're taking the voice of the customer, actual customer data, integrating it in an operational way, in a systematic way into your business. And that can occur in a few different ways, and 7-Eleven is doing several of them. One is in a very pragmatic, day-to-day, actually getting real-time feedback through social sites, through surveys, through other mechanisms that the owners of different properties can see on a real-time basis and respond to. So it's really just integrating voice of the customer into daily operations. You see what's going on, you see what people are saying, and you're responding within, not days or months, you're responding within minutes. And the next level up, what 7-Eleven is really doing is then stepping above that and looking at trends and innovating, experimenting, testing new approaches to improve the customer experience, and then using those listening systems to see what's working. It's almost like A/B testing that you do on the web, but you're doing it in physical stores with this data.
So companies are probably doing it wrong if they're not testing in their stores. If you have physical stores, you ought to be testing your new ideas.
Yeah, I'd say the key, if you're looking for kind of fundamental takeaways, it's to not think of customer feedback as an event. It's not a study. It's not something that the marketing team sends out once a month in a set of surveys. It's something that is integrated in a real-time way into the operations of the business and in low-friction ways. So it's easy for the customer, it's easy for the team to analyze the data. So that's, I think, kind of the key concept to implementing that capability.
So one question I have for both of you is, it seems like one of the implications of everyone having a smartphone, ubiquitous web access, is the definition of convenience has changed. And it's particularly important for what 7-Eleven does, but I imagine for all kinds of businesses in that, we're running a series this week at Recode on the Uberization of everything, basically on demand, customers wanting everything on demand. I mean, 7-Eleven was kind of on demand before there was on demand. It was like, I don't want to go to the grocery store, you're closer. Is there a risk? Do 7-Eleven worry that, if you guys were convenient for an era of grocery stores, that somebody else is going to be more convenient? And I imagine that's a lot of why you're doing some of the things you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to, like I said, take convenience. We invented this business model 87 years ago. In Dallas, Texas. And we've had some regional players and some other convenience stores that, quite honestly, they've sharpened the business model on us a little bit. So we want to go to the next level of convenience. And we think through digital is the way to do it. We first of all, getting the feedback from the customers. When a company says they're mobile first and mobile only, we are mobile first and mobile only. we have basically left the web or the desktop for dead.
I was like, you're not mobile only in the sense I can still go to the store, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
'Cause I've had very little luck. I'd be more than happy if I could get my Diet Coke
we'd love to
straight
just have
from
like
the phone.
a get it, and we just bring it to you.
And I know Apple has a new iPhone coming out. I'm still really hoping that Diet Coke is one of the features, but I haven't seen that rumor. Anyway.
So we do all the customer feedback, and this was where we really, had a good working relationship with Medallia. It's like we said, we're not going to do the old legacy ways of getting feedback, right? So we've all been, you get a receipt and they circle it and say, go take this, go put this code in and go to this website and give feedback. Our transactions are less than 3 minutes in our stores. The door swings out 3 minutes. So we wanted the feedback to be just that fast. So we went mobile-only feedback. And so far, my partners in crime are here. So far from mobile and VOC, so far we've gotten about 13 or 14,000 pieces of feedback in less than a month. And that is what we would get in a whole year from the 800 line. In a whole year, we might get 12 or 13,000. We did that in a month. So it's clear that our customers want a voice to us, and a lot of times they're compliments. And if we don't give them an easy way to do that, they might, and when something goes wrong, they might just leave. But now we have an option and a way to hear them and actually respond to them, and that builds unbelievable loyalty.
Ken, what is the lesson of Uber? I mean, is the lesson that most industries should take away from Uber that, legacy business models are broken, you can't save them, the taxi industry couldn't have possibly seen this coming, and it takes an outsider like Uber? Or are there ways that an industry or a company that's more forward-thinking can avoid being Ubered and Uber themselves, if you will?
It's become a verb, huh, to Uber.
Yes.
So I think if we were to extract a lesson from Uber in the context of this discussion for customer experience management, if you think about using Uber, using Lyft, when you finish the experience, you get a question. It's usually a single survey question. It's 5 stars, rate the experience. And if I recall, you have to answer that question to move on and use the service again. So a couple key takeaways that I think are applicable to all businesses. One, Uber has incorporated feedback directly into the customer experience. It's not a separate survey that comes later from some other group. 2, it's super low friction. It's fast, it's easy, it's 5 stars, you hit it, you swipe. And the third is that there's actually a reason to respond. You're not just giving data to a bunch of PhDs to do the analysis. What you select in your survey is going to affect the driver's rating and how well their business progresses in the future, and how the driver rates you affects your likelihood of being picked up again. I'm not sure what the algorithm is. But so now...
But that's the cherry on top of the Uber experience. I mean, you're talking about the last 10 seconds, which is great and important, but the big part of Uber is they took a terrible customer experience of, I have to find a taxi, I have to haggle over price, I have to, debate the tip, he has to debate whether the amount of tip is good enough for him to give me the change or if he's going to stop. I mean, let's not lose sight of the big picture here. I mean, Mike, from your perspective, what is the lesson of Uber?
Well, I'm a huge fan of two-sided marketplaces. You have on one side a bunch of cars, and you got on another side a bunch of people that need a car, and they're just the glue. And so I think all businesses need to look at it that way, including 7-Eleven. We have ubiquity, right? We have close to 8,500 stores in the United States. We could be the glue for a lot of things. For example, we have Amazon lockers in some of our stores, so there's you can go pick up your package. We're doing some other things with. For example, KeyMe is a company that we have in stores. So we can actually become this two-sided marketplace just because we have a box that's everywhere, and we can connect people that need stuff with companies and services that can provide it. Is
KeyMe like a locksmith?
Yeah, it's disruptive to the locksmith because if you take the key, it digitizes it, and then if you lose your key, you just go to a KeyMe and it just makes you a key automatically.
Is this the one where I'm also worried, though, if someone ever takes a picture of my key, they can make a copy of my key, too?
I don't think that will work, but it actually takes a physical key.
Okay.
And
there's one that just takes a picture of a key, and I'm like, I see the convenience, but the security side, anyway.
But I think that there's the lesson to be learned is that if you can, like Ken said, make something very frictionless, that these two-sided marketplaces, Airbnb is another one that's huge. They're booking a lot of nights, more than most of the hotel chains. And all they are is a glue, and they're a mobile glue, right? So we look at it that way too, that we have voice of the customer, which there are customers informing us on how to be a better company, how to be a better retailer every single day. And then we have CRM or loyalty, which is, once they become a customer of ours and we acquire them and we have, we do the right things to keep them, that we can solve more problems for them and we can serve them better with loyalty and CRM. And those are totally exclusive digital for us. We don't have a plastic card that you go in. I mean, everything's digital, including getting the feedback from the customer. So we kind of feel like the mobile's the glue for us. Even the voice comes in, and then we kind of reward and our customers on the other side of it.
You both have started to get at this. You were talking about, that survey experience of that really unpopular thing. Ken, you were talking about just that ease of, rating a transaction right when I'm there, having it part of the thing. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit more about what is it customers like, what is it they're willing to do, and what is it that they're not willing to do? Like, what have you guys learned in terms of, what should people know about the extent to which customers want to give feedback and how they give feedback?
I think the key takeaways that we've experienced are really two pieces. One is, we've mentioned friction, so a constant focus on make it easy. And then the second is, at the principles level, what's in it for the customer? Why should they be giving you feedback? What benefit do they get from providing that feedback? And then perhaps a third is thinking about the placement of the feedback. Is this publicly placed feedback, or is it private, confidential feedback? And we have found that people give different kinds of feedback and are willing to say different types of things if it's posted broadly and it now reflects on them and their brand, or if they believe it's being privately channeled to you.
Mike, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that we've, we throw the word innovation around a lot, but we've innovated a lot in feedback. We want to make it simple, so we kind of created these, kind of touch and slide. There's no submit in the feedback. We just want it to be really fluid and easy. And then we also, the architecture is really important. We call it train cars. So if you imagine a train with different cars on it and how easy it is to kind of take a train car out and put one in. So we can like A/B test using the API, no app changes whatsoever. Our mobile product managers here, and if we say we want to change the order of questions, I mean, he can do it right now from his laptop, and it would be live in the app. So we really are trying to get people all the way through the train cars, try to get them all the way through the experience. And the way that we say is that we're not doing it for us, we're doing it so we can serve our customers better. We're gathering that information from them so we can actually serve them better in the future. And we're seeing really, really high completion rates going all the way through. But if we see something kind of starting to fall off, we can change pretty quickly.
So we don't have much time, and I do have one burning question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Huge Diet Coke addict, as I've described, loves Slurpees. You guys took my two favorite things, married them together, announced, I think at South by Southwest last year, Diet Coke Slurpee,
yeah.
And then poof, it was gone. What happened?
It sounds crazy. It's a really hard problem to solve. I know it sounds crazy. We've been trying since 2006. We tried with Pepsi. The diet drinks just don't want to freeze in these machines. And under perfect conditions in a lab, it will work really well. But as you know, there's a lot of variability in the stores. So I think we showed a lot of leadership when we found out that the customer experience wasn't that great, and we couldn't get a consistent, Diet Cherry Frost Slurpee out there. We took it back and said, we're going to go reformulate this and try again.
Well, if you're not putting half your venture dollars into solving that big picture problem,
absolutely.
I mean, if there's a 7-Eleven-X, I hope, in addition to the drones, that's what they're working on. Well, I'd love to talk longer, but I'm kind of parched. I need something to drink. But it's been a pleasure. Thank Ken and Mike for a good discussion, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. Thank you.